The policy that we would like to discuss is that we believe that the FDA should make it mandatory for all genetically engineered foods to be labeled. First off, I will give you some background information and the definition of a genetically engineered food from the FDA's website. The FDA states that a genetic engineering is a process in which scientists use recombinant DNA or rDNA technology to introduce desirable traits into an organism. Okay. As of now, currently the FDA does not force companies to label genetically engineered foods, but companies can do it on a voluntary basis. The FDA makes it difficult for companies to have a label saying that their product is a non-genetically engineered food. The estimated percentage of commercialized genetically engineered foods in the United States is as follows. There's about 91% of soy is genetically engineered, 88% of cotton is, and cottonseed oil is often used in food products. 80 to 85% of canola is genetically engineered. 85% of corn is. 50% of Hawaiian papaya is. There are a small amount of alfalfa, zucchini, and yellow squash that are, and there is multiple tobacco companies that use genetically altered foods. Also, genetically engineered products are also found in meat, dairy products, eggs, food additives, honey, and in ingredients such as vegetable oil, vegetable fats, and margarines. And the grocery manufacturers of America estimate that 75% of all processed foods in the U.S. contain a genetically modified ingredient. Current labeling policy in the U.S. focuses more on the safety of the final product rather than the processes used to make it. And in 1992, the Department of Health issued a statement that said genetically modified foods did not need to be labeled if the characteristics of the genetically modified food were the same as the food in its non-genetically modified form. The FDA also states that only genetically modified foods that require labels were those that differed from their natural counterparts. There are some policies right now in other parts of the world, such as the European Union, which makes it mandatory for any product that has more than 1% of a traceable genetically modified material to be labeled. And in December of 2001, Australia and New Zealand made it mandatory for for genetically modified foods to be labeled and need to be labeled if they have altered characteristics compared with their non-genetically modified counterparts, such as increased levels of a particular nutrient. And in Japan, a food genetically modified, food that is genetically modified and identity preserved must be labeled genetically modified. Moreover, a food not handled according to the identity preserved handling separation of genetically modified foods and non-genetically modified foods must be labeled not segregated from genetically modified products. And there needs to be a voluntary labeling system will not provide consumers with accurate and value-free information about genetically engineered content. As of now, most companies will not and choose not to label their products, just simply because they like to take advantage of consumers' concerns and lack of knowledge of biotechnology instead of providing them accurate information. And the consumers need to be protected from these companies. A survey in 2001 by the Center of Science in the Public Interest found approximately 2/3 of all consumers desire labeling of genetically engineered foods. And Americans are eating modified foods without their knowledge. There is not enough research also to provide a safety of inserting genes into fruits, vegetables, and other foods. Consumers should at least have the option of choosing whether they wish to consume a genetically engineered product or not. Genetically engineered foods also pose known health risks. Some have been engineered to have higher levels of toxins to make them insect resistant. And this purposefulness increases in toxins, reverses several thousands of years of selective breeding to just decrease toxicity. And in addition, the genetically engineered plants to resist predators, the plant often creates a defense system that involves the synthesis of natural carcinogens. And some people also have moral or religious concerns with consuming products that have been altered in certain ways. There is a wide range of religious problems with genetically engineered foods. Religious vegetarians such as Seventh-day Adventists and Buddhists want to be able to identify and avoid fruits and vegetables with insect, animal, or human genes in them. Jews who keep kosher food laws want to be able to make sure that genetically engineered foods do not violate their restrictions. A broad spectrum of religious leaders in this country and throughout the world have serious doctrinal objections to the kind of tampering with basics patterns of life that occur in most genetic engineering research. Also, many people who are not formally religious have serious ethical objections to much of the genetic engineering research and development that is currently going on, and wish to avoid genetically engineered foods for that reason. And without labeling, they have no way of avoiding these foods. Many consumers want mandatory labeling so that they can choose whether to eat a genetically engineered food or not, instead of having these ingredients hidden from them. So we believe that the FDA should make it mandatory for genetically engineered foods to be labeled, and that any product that has been biologically modified from its natural form should be labeled as a genetically engineered product. And also, there must be a system that allows conventional foods to be appropriately separated and identified as genetically modified or non-genetically modified foods. Thank you.